Hey friends, welcome back. Today we're starting a big one, linear relations. Now before we get into it, if you haven't checked out our video on defining your dependent and independent variables, I highly recommend watching that one first. The link is above and in the description below. Now, what is a linear relation? It is a positive or negative relationship between two variables, which we're calling x and y. And the rate at which they are changing, increasing or decreasing, is constant and consistent. Now this number, called the rate of change or the slope, multiplies x and is represented by the letter m. Though depending where you are, it could be a different letter such as a. Now what does all this mean? It's easiest to understand through an example. In Fortnight, every time you use a bandage, you gain 15 health. If you use 2 bandages, that is 15 health times 2. So the more bandages you use, the more health you gain. This can be turned into a linear relationship where x is the number of bandages you've used and y is the number of health you've gained. If for one bandage or every one x you gain 15 hit points, that means the rate of change, the constant, is 15. We can now use this equation to calculate how much health 5, 8, or 235 bandages will heal us by replacing x with that number and solving for y. Now you remember how we mentioned a relationship can either be positive or negative. Now this case in particular is a positive relationship because when x increases, so does y. When you use more bandages, your health increases. Now both those numbers get bigger together. In a negative relationship, the rate of change, m, would be negative. So for example, if you lose 8 health every time you're hit, the m would be negative 8. So for every hit, x, your health, y, would go down by 8. Now there's a second value in linear equations we haven't brought up yet, and that's the initial value, b. This value is your starting point, your amount of money before going shopping, your health before going into battle, the amount of chicken wings in your basket before you start destroying them. It's what you're starting with, which also happens to be your y value when x equals 0. B helps put more context into the question as well. So how might a linear equation be set up using both your rate of change and your initial value? We're going to go back to the example of health. You just riggedy-wrecked some punks who were trying to capture your point or whatever, but you took some damage and you need to find some health. Right now you're at 20 health, and each bandage heals 15 health. Let's once again start by defining our variables. X is the number of bandages and y is the total health. Each bandage or each x that you use, you gain 15 health. So m is positive 15. In this current situation, your health is starting at 20, so b is positive 20. So your equation is y equals 15x plus 20, and it represents this very specific situation. We can use this to calculate what your new total health will be after using any number of bandages. It can also be used backwards to figure out how many bandages you'd need to have a certain total health. So it can be used to solve for both an x or a y. And there you have it. Linear equations are everywhere, in gaming and in the real world. If one thing has a constant increasing or decreasing effect on another, it can be written as a linear equation. Now this is really just an overview, so check out our linear relations playlist for all those other fancy videos. But until then, keep studying, keep gaming, keep learning.